Hello and welcome to another episode of My Backstage Pass. This is your host, Lee Zimmerman, and I'm here with my producer, co-host, Billy Hubbard. And today we're excited to have Mr. Kevin Galloway from the band Uncle Lucius. Uncle Lucius. Uncle Lucius. I got it right there. We had to do several takes on that, but Uncle Lucius. I got to ask you, Kevin, how did you come up with that name, Uncle Lucius? That's my first question.
Fantastic. Well, it's always a question we get, especially in the beginning.
Sure. I did say I was an original questioner, but I'm curious though.
No, it's worth knowing, man. So it happened. It was a bit of happenstance. We were a band in the beginning, just using my name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just put a band together and Kevin Galloway band. And I realized pretty soon that, this needs to be a band with a name, not under my name. So we were doing our thing, playing a lot of live shows regionally. And we started making lists of lists of names, to call ourselves.
Okay.
In the midst of that, we, a scraggly bunch of guys, got invited to a nice house with a nice family to a nice homemade dinner. It was a friend of the band's, and they just wanted to invite the whole band over. And so we had this great, we call it being like a great turkey Creole type dinner. And we're sitting around drinking coffee, having a little dessert. And some of their extended family start talking about their grandpa, and his name was Lucius.
Okay.
And we were listening to these stories about this guy, and he's from South Louisiana, and he had a streak about him. It reminded me of like a Mark Twain type of character, and we liked that, and we liked that family setting, and we didn't want to be named Grandpa Lucius, so Uncle felt better, and it kind of rolled off the tongue, and it was on that list. And when we finally made a decision, it was at the top of the list, and it just felt right, and it kept going. So
well, now you need to have a girl band to be Aunt Lucius. And
I agree.
It would have a whole family, a whole Lucius family that could evolve out of this.
You want to know something beautiful?
Yeah.
That there is a band named Lucius.
I know.
They're much bigger than us, and it's fronted by two women.
I know.
And they're fantastic. And we've known about them since the MySpace days. They said, we're going to name our band Lucius, and we know you're Uncle Lucius. We just hope that's okay. And we're like, of course, please. So it's been great to see what they've done.
I was going to ask you about it because, there's obviously a common familiarity factor there. But doesn't that get people confused now and then? Maybe, possibly.
I would say maybe possibly, but we've been around so much and we do such disparate things.
Yes.
We don't really run into each other in the places we play,
right.
Or any of the festivals we're on. But wouldn't it be cool to do a Uncle Lucius album one time? I mean,
I would think
they've worked with a lot of people, so I'm always open to something like that.
I would think so. Double Lucius, a double helping of Lucius and Uncle Lucius, then just a Lucius. Okay. All right. So your band, though, has an interesting history because I guess you started out some years ago, and then you went on hiatus and kind of came back with the latest album. There's a break in time, right? I mean,
definitely. Yeah, there's a break, and in hindsight, it's a hiatus. In the moment, it was over. We started getting this thing rolling late 2005, put our first album out in 2006. And we had a great run through the year 2018 when, quite a few months before we ended it, I sat the band down and I said, you know what? I just think it's time to move on for 100 different reasons. And we all were, talked about it and were amicable and did like a 7-month farewell thing. And we dropped the mic in March of 2018 and moved on. I even moved on to do some solo things, did a lot of acoustic shows. Other guys in the band were joining different projects, living different lives. Well, 3 years after the band broke up, one of our songs, there was a song released in 2012 called "Keep the Wolves Away."
Yeah, yeah.
Was featured, picked up and featured in a show called Yellowstone
Sure.
on Paramount.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so with that, there was newfound interest in the band. And then a little bit later, that song went gold because of the newfound interest. There was always a YouTube video that was with it that had been growing its own legs to a few million views, but this really put it there. And then we got together to celebrate that we had a gold record with a band that had broken up 3 years prior. And think about the irony of it all. Yeah. I know that.
Right.
We're like, we should have done this years ago. But it was something fun. And we had a steak and cocktail party, and we were there hanging around for 3 hours and started talking about, man, should we maybe do this again? I know we're doing different things, but we all like each other. And so we started thinking about it. And then a year later, we started really getting some things together and trying to put some music together, compile some songs. And by that time, the song had gone platinum.
Wow.
And then in 2023, almost 5 years to the day, just a couple of weeks off, we got back on the horse. We ended at a place called Green Hall between Austin and San Antonio, 2 nights. And we started again 5 years later with 2 nights at Green Hall. So we've been on the road making music ever since.
Wow. That is some story there. I mean, most times when a band decides to call it quits, that's the end of the line. And it's not always amicable either. So you were in a very good position to regroup and, begin again, so to speak. It sounds like it.
We were, and I'm very grateful for it. We're better. We added another guitar player. Our founding bass player and co-writer with me on a lot of the songs and a lot of his songs. He's now in the role of producer.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of brothers and then new brothers. And we really like each other. The most important thing is the hang is good. And, it goes a long way. We're having a ball right now.
So were there any sort of rusty parts in there where you had to reacquaint yourself, or was it, sort of instant clicked just like it was, prior? I mean, was there any break-in period required whatsoever?
There was a bit of a break-in period, but it didn't really take long. We knew we were going to get in the room together. And, there were a couple of songs to bring to the table, but in the beginning, it was just about knocking off the rust. And it was kind of surprising how some of the songs just showed back up after not playing them that long. You're like, am I going to remember this? But, oh, yeah, if you put it into memory, it's there. And it was, like I said, it was really a ball. And those first few rehearsals, we just kind of knocked the rust off and let go of songs we knew we weren't going to play again.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good catalog, and we just knew, okay, let's work on this one. We're a different band. We added a guitar player. Let's make it a little different. And then let's bring these new things in. So, man, it didn't take long to get that rust off and move forward. And we've been doing it ever since, really.
That's cool. My mother had a band in the 40s and 50s before I was even born. And so whenever the family is kind of a family band. So after they got, I guess they were in their 60s, and I finally got them all back together, and we called them the Rusty Pickers.
Rusty Pickers.
They were the Tennessee Partners. They were Tennessee Partners in the 50s. So yeah, knocking the rust off.
Yeah.
I think we had a song called Knocking the Rust Off.
Okay. I just picked out that word rust. I guess that was appropriate there. I like it when I hit on the right cylinder. So the name of the current album, Like It's the Last One. So does that mean it's like it's like the last one, but I'm trying to get the meaning behind it. There's probably no meaning behind it, but I'm looking for a meaning anyway. Like it's the last one. Yes. It's the last one left. I'm sorry.
Like it's the last one left. Which appropriates a different meaning.
Yes.
But, that's a bit of a cosmic coincidence. That's a line from one of the songs. And that's a song, the aforementioned producer now, former bass player. It's a song he wrote He actually wrote most of the songs on this album.
Uh-huh.
He'd been over that break. I mean, he dropped out of the band even before we broke up.
Really?
But,
Wow.
still friends. Just didn't like the touring life. It's not for everybody. I get it. But still one of our best friends, and for years he's been writing. And so for all this time he's been writing. And when we knew we were going to bring this back and have him as producer, I knew he had a stack of songs. And he had some totally demoed out. And I listened to them. And the ones that I felt like I could step into that role. And I've been doing this in the past with his songs, with other Uncle Lucius projects, Like I said, it's a real blessing to work with this guy because he writes great songs, and I'm the first person maybe to ever sing a lot of them.
Wow.
So we have an understanding, and he lets me put my voice on it. So I like to step into it and be able to sing it from an authentic place, step into character, or be that person, or see myself in that place and time in my life, just to be able to connect. And I did with a lot of his songs, but to that song, this one of his songs started out, I take a breath like it's the last one left. And when the pressure gets low, I let everything go. The song's called I'm Happy. And so, we had other ideas for the album title, but that was always there. And again, with the lists, it reached the top and it became what we picked.
Well, there is some mystique to that, and so it's very interesting, especially for an album that is coming out after that hiatus. When did this album actually come out, though? It's fairly recent, right? I mean,
yeah. So we released it in December of 2023. So that the end of last year.
Yeah.
So it's not only a few months old,
Yeah. Okay. And now you guys are obviously touring. How extensive is this particular jaunt, as they say, around the country?
Yeah, so this next particular jaunt where we're going to come through Tennessee, we're going to start it's July 5th through July 20th.
Oh, that's
it's
not
a
too
run
bad.
that starts. No, it's not too bad, but we do a lot of regional weekends, and we have jaunts like that all over. So this is our full-time gig. We're just not,
right,
300 dates a year.
Yeah,
we're doing it smarter, not harder. But this one's a jaunt from July 5th to the 20th up to Buffalo, New York, and back. But starting at the Ryman in Nashville.
Oh, nice!
So I'm pretty excited about that. Man.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way.
And then, of course, we're coming through Maryville.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Exactly. Have you played in these realms before at all?
Speaking
Knoxville.
of Maryville specifically?
Well, East Tennessee, let's say. Because
yes.
Knoxville.
We've played Knoxville years past. We've done Chattanooga on our recent Southeast run.
All right.
Did Nashville. My goodness, we played a little coffee shop, and I'm so sorry I can't remember the name of the city.
That's okay.
Yeah, but it's East Tennessee, so we've been through there a few times.
Okay.
Well, you guys will love the Shed. You'll be a good fit for that.
Yeah, the Shed.
I've heard beautiful things about the Shed from musicians, the people I trust who know. And,
yes,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, well, one of your buddies in Reckless Kelly could tell you, because Reckless Kelly was here last Saturday with Steve Earle. And
nice.
And I know you worked with one of the brothers on one of your records as well. You did a part, so you guys can compare notes, and you'll have a great time with it. With it.
Looking forward to it, man.
So this is Billy's indicating we should play some music now. Well, this will give me time to collect my thoughts.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll check this out.
I mean, I try to be a professional there, Kevin, but everybody needs time to collect their thoughts at one time or another. So,
let's give this one.
So what are we going to hear?
All the Angelinos.
Yeah, all the Angelinos. All right, so let's play the song, and then Kevin, if you don't mind, afterwards, you could give us a little bit of a backstory.
Yes, sir.
All the Angelinos, they're moving down to Texas. They're moving down to Texas. All the Angelinos, Yeah, they moving down to Texas. I'm from Texas, and I'm telling you, I ain't never seen the likes of it. I ain't never seen the likes of it. I'm from Texas, and I'm telling you, I ain't never seen the likes of it. I ain't never seen the likes of it in my whole life. And moving down to Texas with a bird with a tax lax. And moving down to Texas and they're buying up the cowboy hats. Yeah, they're moving down to Texas with oil and a freedom flow. They're moving down to Texas with a pony and a rodeo. Oh, oh. Texas, yeah, they moving down to Texas. All the Angelinos, they moving down to Texas. Yeah, they moving down to Texas. Texas, our Texas, all hail the mighty state.
Okay, we're going to relate to that quite a bit because we say all the Angelinos are moving to East Tennessee. So I think, here's a little hint. When you're on stage there, make some sort of reference to get that connection, and people will relate because that's what's happening here. Yeah.
That is true.
Noted.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a great song, man. Great production, too.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the whole album is terrific. And you guys have always made just really great, moving, emphatic recordings. And, I'd be interested to kind of get your take on how the music has evolved from the beginning. Obviously, again, with the gap, that went into it. But how would you say your music has evolved from, the beginning in 2006 to where you are now?
So I would say it's evolved right along with this. It's an interesting study in realizing where I am and where I started. And of course, and in turn, the whole band. But if I take it to my personal, trajectory, in 2002, I was a banker living in East Texas, and I quit that job.
Wow.
And moved to Austin because they were playing music down there every night. And I'd never been in a band. I started doing open mics. I was 25 years old when I moved down there. Never had a band, never been in a band, and started doing the thing. And then 3 years later, had enough friends that said, look, we have to start a band if you want to take the next step. Let's do this. And so we did that. And then so the first album that Uncle Lucius put out was the first album I've ever been a part of.
Wow.
And we put our money together and got the thing going. And then the second one was with an actual producer, and it was, we got a little help with money. We put our money in with the help, and we did the thing as we're playing all these live shows. And then the third one, a little bit better. It was the specific trajectory of a band that never made an album, or a person that's never been in a band and then started a band and then made albums and went through. So I think you can see the reflection of maturity as songwriters, vocalists, our taste in production, all of the above, I think, has improved right along with the order. I really can see that reflected. Just a couple of years ago, I went back and listened to everything. I hadn't done that in a long time.
Wow.
And was hoping I would hear that. And I do hear that. Up to this, one right now. And we're in the studio right now working on the next one. And I feel like I have the next one already written beyond that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We all, we put it through the filter of everyone. It's very democratic in that sense. And we got to get everyone to sign off in the band on specific things, specific parts we're recording now, to where we're getting everything all at once in the room and saying, that's the take. Let's build on that. So we've come from that to the first one, of course, it's part by part. I just think it represents and reflects the growth, hopefully, and the maturity as us as musicians.
Well, obviously there was a big gap between the third album and the latest album too. I mean, right? I mean, the third album came out, in 2012, right?
There was one that came out in 2015. That was our last album, called The Light.
All right. Yes.
So the gap was our longest gap.
It was a gap, though, regardless,
Definitely. It's an 8-year gap between albums.
Okay.
And I can definitely, this went into also picking these tunes. It's not about being precious about ownership of songs.
Yeah.
Anymore for us. When they're brought to the table, like I said, Hal had so many tunes that he brought to the table on this last one. We recorded 7 of his songs, and he co-wrote one with me, and then I wrote all the Angelinos, little co-write with Doug Strahan there, little guitar part.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the song and how everybody feels about the strength of the song and what we can do with it and how it all aligns. So we've definitely matured in that way. And I will hold this one up as our best in terms of substance, song structure, and songwriting wise. As a piece, I think this is our strongest yet.
There you go. Yeah. I have to mention there was a Billy Joel song called Los Angelinos All Come From Somewhere. Did you ever hear that song?
No, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard
Kevin.
it, but I want to cover it.
No, there is a song by Billy Joel. I don't recall offhand, but it's Los Angelinos, They All Come From Somewhere. And yeah, check it out. You can make a medley if you wanted to do a cover there.
That's right, man.
You have the Texas state anthem in there at the end. Of course. Yeah. I used to live in Dallas, and I still remember the theme song, Dallas. And that's, let's see, where every home's a palace. And you know what I'm talking about, or am I just mumbling off? Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there you go.
That's funny, that Texas State song that's in the end of that song. Yeah, in 7th grade in Texas, if you're in school, they make you you take Texas history and you learn like a pledge to the Texas flag. And,
of course, I remember.
And that song, I think it's stuck around since then. And man, that whole song, we'll leave a little mystery to it, but it's very tongue in cheek, man.
Yeah, well,
it's just kind of being in the center there of both sides and just expressing a sentiment that is a current sentiment, but also, poking a little fun at well, overwrought pride, if you will.
Well, again, we're in Tennessee. It's T for Texas, T for Tennessee.
Yeah.
And when I was raised in Dallas, we came to really respect and revere the Tennesseans who came and fought at the Alamo. And I think there's still that tie. I mean, even here in Maryville, there's the Sam Houston Schoolhouse, which isn't the original, but it's where he taught, and so that tie is still pretty uniform. So again, Kevin, when you're here, I would emphasize that. You're going to warm up the crowd anyway, but a little sort of homespun reference would. It's always a good thing.
A lot of my family ended up down there. They went to Tennessee and for some reason went on to Texas. But
really,
a lot of them, yeah. That's Got Hubbard Lake down there. And
There's a Hubbard Lake.
yeah, Ray
Named for
Wiley.
your family, Billy Hubbard, and there's a Hubbard Lake.
There's a Ray Wiley Hubbard, yeah.
Ray Wiley. We think they're related. And we're not sure, but we think Billy and Ray Wiley are related.
He said he was prettier than me, so I don't know.
Oh dear. Well, obviously, Austin is one of the great music meccas, at least in this country and possibly the whole world. So is that scene still as vibrant as people say? I mean, are you still feeling like you're caught up in this, amazing community where everybody's making music and, it's the place to be? Is Austin still, the spot, so to speak?
It is for a lot of different reasons. And it also has morphed into something different for a lot of different reasons. I think just like Tennessee's, and maybe more Nashville than anything, experienced some population growth. I started out in Austin in 2002, and I've seen quite a few changes because of the population growth. And that, of course, affects the music scene because of who's coming in.
Yeah.
And it's way more diverse, and there's so many things going on. And of course, because it is a mecca for people and it's a world-class city, there's a lot of road shows that are coming through. Quite a few more than did in 2002, but there were still quite a few then. So it makes it into another place in the sense that there's more diverse music. But a lot of the musicians can't live in town anymore because of rental prices and, what have you. So a lot of people live on the outskirts. And so there's little things happening on the outskirts now because of being pushed out of Austin. But there's also the things that happen in Austin that will always be there. And they're still vibrant. And I think these changes are inevitable with a city that's growing like it is. But to go back and answer your question, Austin's still definitely a music hub and a place where there's a lot of creativity going on. So I think it's all positive.
Is there a lot of collaboration between the different musicians? I know, in Nashville, you can go to any music venue and you'll see other musicians and they'll have the, songwriters in the round, and they'll be, cross-pollinating in terms of songwriting. Is it still that real cohesive scene down there in Austin as well?
There is that in terms of when you say that, what comes to mind is a place like Sea Boys, opened by the gentleman that owns Continental Club, a great place in Austin. It's been there for years. And that place is a place where there's world-class musicians playing every night, and everybody's got a residency, essentially. So, this cat's playing on Monday, they're playing on Tuesday, and they have nights for that where there's just a band up late, and all the musicians in town are in the crowd, and everybody just keeps coming in, like a different bass player, different drummer, different guitar player.
Wow.
And so there's definitely a world for that. And it's, it's pretty exciting to see, man. It's all these just pros all in one room, and you can't tell who's what. And like, wow, that dude just blew my mind. And he let me bum a cigarette. It's cool.
Yeah. Now you have your own record label, don't you? Boo Clap Records, right? I mean,
we do. We have our own, and it was even previous to the breakup. We started our own label, just cutting out the middleman and being able to do it ourselves, and we can still get the right help distribution wise.
Mm-hmm. With 30 Tigers,
So, yeah. So, it just seemed like the thing to do.
Would you ever consider signing other artists to that label, or is it strictly for your own purposes?
For now it isn't for our own purposes, but I'll never say never to anything like that.
All right.
Of course, got to talk all the partners into something like that, but that's never off the table.
Okay. So here's a general question for folks that might not be aware of the band or who have never seen the band in concert. What would you say? What can they expect? Can you just give us a brief description of what they're going to find when they come to the show? Yeah.
So let's lay it out. Right now we're playing live. We're a 6-piece band. I'm the lead singer. I play acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 lead guitar players. We've got a drummer, bass player, and a keys player that plays regular keys, plays an organ through a Leslie,
Okay.
late 50s era Leslie. He also every once in a while picks up the squeeze box, and a couple of vocalists. 4 vocalists, some background vocalists, and
Wow.
we're doing the thing. We're in terms of what it is, I call it American roots,
There you go.
because that's a wide array of things. Because you're gonna hear some country, you're gonna hear some blues, you're gonna hear some soul, psychedelia, rock and roll, all of those things, a touch of some other things, but kind of morphed into our thing. I think we have an original, unique to us feel and sound that is steeped in that past, American roots. We don't listen to many modern records.
Okay.
There are some we do, but we love all the old music, stuff previous to us or when we were kids, but that's just kind of the soundtrack behind us going down the road. And you'll hear a seasoned band. Man, we've gone through 5 Ford Econoline vans, 6 Ford Econoline vans now, and now we're on a Chevy Express, and all the years of touring and going. And so we are, the road is caked on us. We can't get it off. And it's on our streams, and you're going to hear that when we play.
Well, maybe you need a good car wash there, Kevin.
Okay, maybe.
All the flies on the windshield or something like that. But I get what you're saying here, man. You guys are seasoned road warriors and dedicated to the task at hand. And I know your music. I know you're going to go over a storm here at the Shed. I mean, it's just a perfect venue for you. You're going to love it. And
I think we need to go, Lee.
Yeah.
I'm sold after that description.
Yeah, we're we're definitely going to go, Billy. We're not going to miss it. The Shed happens to be 7 minutes from my house, literally 7 minutes from my house. So you can't ask for anything better than that, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
there you
Great.
go.
And that and the Mike's Enhanced Lemonade, perfect combination. Perfect. Yeah. So. All right, buddy. Well, listen, Kevin, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Hang on a minute. Billy's going to do our outro. Just hang on a minute. And
Sure.
All right.
Big thanks to Kevin Galloway and the band Uncle Lucius. I think I get it right.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Also, check out our host Lee Zimmerman's new book, 30 Years Behind the Glass, by Jim Gaines. It's very interesting. And please like, share, and subscribe to my Backstage Pass on your favorite platform. And we'll see y'all next time. Happy trails.
Happy trails.